Hello, my name is Jurasi Torres, and today I'm going to be presenting my capstone project, improving medication safety during the PACU handoff through the standardized SBARR communication. I currently work in PACU and in pre-op, and I come from the ER side of it. I used to be an ER nurse. I've seen firsthand how fast things move in the preoperative and PACU side and how easy it is for critical medications and information to get lost in the process. That's what inspired me to work and do my project off of this. I'm used to a fast paced environment because I come from the ER, but I believe that the PACU side has a little bit more critical care, and a lot of mistakes can be made, and SBARR is definitely a necessity. So let's continue. The objective today, I will walk through 4 main points: the purpose and the rationale behind this project, the background and the significance, basically why this matters so much, the evidence that supports the structured handoff, and finally, the project plan, the implementation, evaluation, and how the results will be shared. So, the reason I picked this topic is honestly because of what I've experienced in real life. There have been many times in PACU where anesthesia is finishing up their case and they're already needed in the OR for the next case. So a lot of times the verbal information that is given to us is not okay. That's just not enough. I've had moments where I'm like, okay, when was the last medication given to this patient? Was that antibiotic hung or given to the patient? When did they last get nausea medication, and did it work for them? A lot of those little key details are missed. Moments like this remind me of how important structured communication is. Okay, so for the background significance, communication failures are at the top root cause of centennial events occurring according to the Joint Commission. PACU especially is a very vulnerable, puts the patients in a very vulnerable position. The patients can change within seconds. We're getting patients who are waking up from multiple high alert medications and sometimes are confused or in a lot of pain. And that's a really risky, vulnerable population that we're dealing with. And incomplete handoff puts the patient at a higher risk for any kind of medication errors or misinformation, because the patient most of the time cannot tell you and will not be able to tell you. They're not alert and oriented enough to know exactly what is going on. Okay, so my PICO question is improving patient safety through the standardized PACU process using SBARR. This helped me structure the whole project and keep focus for measurable outcomes. Okay, so the evidence overview. The evidence completely backs up using a structured tool is what is needed. Research shows that a handoff model shows big drops in communication errors. There was all 9 of the different references that I used. They were all clear that using SBARR in PACU is considered a high risk zone, especially for like medication discrepancies. Every single literature that I went through points the same thing. When communication is structured, patient safety improves. So not just the anesthesiologist running out of the OR and dropping the patient off and giving you a verbal read back, actually giving you something in your hand physically, letting you know the situation, the background, everything that happened. Having the continued same structure helps, and it reduces and it improves patient safety outcomes. We're trying to prevent any centennial events from occurring. And being consistent using the SBARR and having clarity has been proven to have like up to 50%, 30 to 50% reduction in medication or discrepancies with patients. And it all equals out to having patients have more success and successful outcomes leaving the PACU surgical environment. So the literature theme across all the 9 articles the 9 like different references that I use, it was all the same thing. Number one, structured handoff prevents medication errors. Staff education is key. Just handing the patient over and then verbalizing something does not work. Workflow must support SBAR. It isn't easy, and it is workflow must support it. Like people aren't gonna like naturally just do it, but once they get used to it, people will be able to adapt to it. And there's a gap between PACU and the back of the OR, and so we're trying to minimize that and be consistent all around and keeping the same specific research, which makes the project even more relevant. So for this one, patient outcomes, this all goes back to the number one goal is patient safety. When handoffs are complete, patients get safer, smoother recoveries. They're not waiting for pain medications because we're not trying to figure out what was given and what was not given. They're not receiving duplicate doses, like they're not being double dosed or they're not giving double the medication, or the nurse is not forgetting to give something. There's no questions about it. There's no delay in discharge. It helps patients get in and out of the surgical centers or the PACU centers quicker. There's no delay in discharge because we're piecing information together. I remember a young patient I had who had a laparoscopic procedure. She was waking up and she was in a lot of pain, and I almost gave a double dose of fentanyl because I didn't know that the anesthesiologist had given it in the back because they hadn't charted it in our system, and they didn't verbally tell me. And before I gave it, I remember leaving that patient and going to the back and talking to the anesthesiologist to find out when was the last time they got that medication. That could have been really dangerous because those patients are already really sedated and tired. And there's other ways and other medications that we can give to help patients recover faster, to get them in and out of surgeries. And there's different ways to help them cope with pain, not just always drugging them up with different medications. But better communication changes the patient's outcomes for them to have better outcomes using the SBAR. The project plan. The plan includes everyone involved in the PACU process, from anesthesia, PACU nurses, our charge nurses, and the education team. We create a specific PACU SBAR template that highlights medications. Training would be hands-on with the team, using short demos and actually getting people to use SBAR mock-ups, not just like a clear handoff or something that we can go in and click and say competent and that we've done it. Honestly, nurses work better and are more willing and more open to change when we understand the why behind it. Implementation. Implementation includes training for both anesthesiologists and the operation team with the PACU nurses. Maybe like having like a laminated SBAR card that is given for every single patient. That way we understand and reinforce the team and close that loop communication. Have that reinforced team and that closed loop communication. There's a lot of barriers in PACU because it's such a fast moving pace, and the change can be annoying. But when nurses actually understand how much easier this would help us and improve patient safety, I feel like they would be open to adapting and to the changes. Evaluation. The information will be shared like in huddles and conferences with all the team. One cool part about this project is that I did get to work with my manager. Her name is Taylor. She's a nurse. She's my manager at one of the PACU centers that I work at. She gave me information and insight on how to overcome resistance and keep the project sustainable by just continuing to talk with the staff and educate them and seeing what's working and what is not. Just being transparent. So for the dissemination, the information will be shared during PACU huddles, PACU team anesthesiologists. Oh, this is basically everyone getting together and working and seeing what works and what does not. In summary, the PACU handoffs PACU is a very high risk environment, and using the PACU handoffs, like the little template, it would help with high risk medications, incomplete medications that can be harmful to patients. SBARR gives us a clear and simple structure to help prevent any errors, and implementing it, even on a small scale, can help improve the difference in safety, flow, and teamwork in our PACU environment. This pretty much wraps up my presentation. If you have any questions, comments, anything, please, open to it. Thank you so much for your time. I apologize for being super nervous and not really good at speaking and things like this. Thank you so much.